Martin's Test Shaves, and it's a Sunday and it's December the 7th, lucky number 7. Terrible day here. All the lighting is wrong in my bathroom, so do forgive me. I'm doing a different angle on the phone today. I'm going to be using SV, the Superficio Veracino, 1945, very kind gift to me. Opuntia, 2018 special edition. Very little of this left, but this is a bit of a special day because it's so horrible. I want to do a special shave. Anyway, I want to show two very unusual razors. Much as I love the Filharmonica 14, I've only got two Filharmonica 13's, and one of them is a standard, and it's a beautiful razor. I have no complaints about it at all. But unfortunately, when I managed to get it, it was without a box. And of course that really, for me, without a case, I do love their cases. However, the other one is more unusual because I got this off an advert on eBay, and the gentleman up north who had it also included the most incredible thing, which is a strop, an actual original paddle strop, loom strop rather, from the very company. Must have been one of the very last they made. Likewise, the razor is one of the very last made. So let me just get a bit more of this. Not lathering up very well today, is it? I don't know why. And I'll show you the razors. Filharmonica, unfortunately, went bust in the early 1980s due to the insane laws in Europe. Politically correct laws, I hasten to add. They seem to think that disgusting badger bristle brushes used by umpteen customers with skin disorders can't possibly give you an infection, whereas a nasty clean razor can. So unfortunately, that meant all the barbers in Europe had to use, unless they were very special, they had to use disposable blade razors, which of course killed entirely the beautiful market that was there originally for proper razors, straight razors. However, do you know what? I can't really be bothered with much more. I know you're supposed to, but that'll do. Let me show you these, try the fingers. Let me show you these two razors. I'll explain what we're doing today. What we're doing is we're comparing an absolutely standard top end Filharmonica 13 Novodur. Now that's the Novodur, and that is quite a late razor, but you'll notice it's 3 pins, 1, 2, 3, high quality, square nose. But this little beauty is a Filharmonica Sello Oro, one of the very last made. And that, with its not very good quality box, I hasten to say, but it is still a nice case, that is slightly different. 1, it's a longer blade. 2, it's nowhere near as deeply hollow ground. Hanging hair testing, it's very quiet. You can hardly hear it. Whereas the deep hollow grind of this beautiful thing, there is the, if I can just show it, I don't know how well this will pick things up. That is probably 1960s. It's got the made in Spain on the other side, and this is the Novodur, which is, you know, a superb and very well known razor, but it's a 13, and that's a Sello Oro, which is again a 13. But look at the difference. Yes, the Sello Oro is considerably larger, even though they class it as a 13. It has that look of a 13, but it ain't. So it's in a 13 box, but I would personally, blade depth is about the same. I would personally classify this as an oddball. One of the very last made. It doesn't have, unfortunately, any stamped address on it at all, and just the Filharmonica scales. But obviously it's got a beautiful gold panel in it, so we do know what it is. It is a Filharmonica double temple. Let's see how this one works. So this is the very late double temple. extremely late, probably one of the very last made, but the steel quality will be the same. The grind, it's a stiffer grind, which is actually better for 4 or 5 days, which I've got 4 or 5 days of growth. That's a pretty heavy old stubble today. Yeah, this is very good. This has the feel of a heavy duty razor. You notice, I don't know with my new position for my phone if you can pick it up, but the noise is nice and crunchy, but still relatively quiet. So that's one side done. First pass. I've got to say exceptional. I say exceptional because it's the fact that it is a very heavy grind in comparison to a standard filarmonica. So that's a Sello Oro. Let's now go back to use the 13 Novodur. These are beautiful razors, but let's see. Wow, it's noisy. Edge quality, the same. I stropped them both just now. They're hanging hair tested almost identically, but this one is definitely the older style and it has a definite ring to it. Yeah. I wish I had more Filly13's. A superb size. Not as big a blade as a 14. Extremely nice. The equivalent of a 6/8, I suppose. Anyway, I've got to say between the two of them, on a very heavy stubble, I go for the slightly heavier grind. But really there's very little to choose otherwise. Anyway, this is dispelling the myth that the late filarmonicas weren't quite as good. They are quite as good. It's the steel. As long as the grind is good, and it was extremely good in the Sello Oro, then the fact that the company was going bust, the poor old original owner had died, the son and daughter took over, and unfortunately there was a large amount of argy-bargy as to who owned what and who did what. And so sadly, the very late ones often come out without being stamped. However, it's still a good razor. This, of course, is the absolutely pucker one. Let me dry my fingers. This has the full stamping on both sides of the tang. So we know this is about 1960s probably. Against the grain, superb. You cannot beat a straight razor. You just can't. That's absolutely superb. Yes, it takes a bit of practice, of course it does. But that is lovely. Absolutely perfect. I'll go against the grain on the other side and then we're done. But this is removing huge amounts of stubble. So let's go against the grain with this, the Sello Oro. Yeah, this is definitely a stiffer blade. Almost silent. How very strange. Does a lovely job. Yeah, no complaints at all. For chewing off the coarse stubble, I'd go for this heavier blade. but it's the steel quality that counts. And that's what filarmonica are renowned for. Anyway, that'll do me. Just a little demo and a little test between a very normal Novodur 13, filarmonica 13, and this, which is the Sello Oro, which is the very, very late one. But, just to blow away a myth, that is still giving a very good shave. It gave no problem honing, no problem stropping. So that is still, if you want to pick one up, they're not particularly dear because they're not particularly wanted. But I make notes on them, as you can see. That's the Sello Oro. And here is an absolutely classic Novodur 13. And the Novodur 13, as you can hear, has the slightly thinner grind. You can hear as I palm strop it. That's noisy, but is a beautiful piece of steel. So money for money, I'd go for the old one, obviously. But just to show you, when I bought the Sello Oro, it came with this. If you ever find one of these, you're very, very lucky. This is a loom strop, an original loom strop from the original company. This is a filarmonica. It says there, Fabbrico di Ciociaria Fina, whatever that means, filarmonica, and it's got the original stamp with 1915 on it, when they were originally formed. So this is actually a bit of a prize, and it does work. Very strange material, smooth leather one side, and it's got its little square paste block on the other. Anyway, enough of that. Let's have a quick wash up. I never do a trimming when I'm doing a video. When you should really, but I don't. It's going to take forever. And life's too short. So I'm just going to add a little splash of something. And that's 4 or 5 days worth of stuff gone. Let's put the daft naked bird on the dragon, which of course is a famous for the fact that I never use the soap. So there she is. Look. Mad bird on dragon. Kazan! Yeah, that is sweet. Again, sign of a damn good shave. No stinging, no nothing. This particular Kazan isn't known for being a particularly potent in alcohol, so probably why you get a slightly kinder shave from it. I've lost the original soap. It's gone somewhere. Anyway, I don't care. Yeah, back with the top or it'll evaporate. Thanks, chaps. I thought this may be just something to pass some time on a rather dull Sunday lunchtime in Littlehampton, West Sussex. So, chaps, have a wonderful weekend, what's left of it. 13 minutes 27, sorry for the time. And a little bit of explanation on the history of filarmonica. Martin's Test Shaves. Bye for now.